afternoon. If I look familiar to some of you, it may be that you saw me early yesterday morning when I was honored to be profiled in that wonderful video that the AIPAC staff put together. I have three quick reactions to that video I wanted to share with you, whether you saw it or not. First is, especially for those who did see it, I think it's amazing what can be done with editing. In watching that video, even I didn't know that I had served in a tank during the Yom Kippur War. So it was quite special. Second of all, I've been very taken in the 26 hours since it aired to see how many exceptionally nice people, total strangers, have come up to me and shared with me their own wonderful stories of what brought them to AIPAC. And it's wonderful to share that. And I'll say also that we are all here, or at least all started here, because of a passion for a particular important policy issue. But it's so much nicer, so much sweeter to have such wonderful teammates to push that rock up the mountain with. And it's just, as I meet more and more both professional staff and lay leaders from around the country in connection with my AIPAC work, I'm so glad that we are all in this together. And third of all is that my third reaction was actually, while I watched it, it was a little bit of an out-of-body experience watching it. And it was, of course, flattering to be profiled. But my reaction in watching it was that probably, almost certainly, the vast majority of the people in the hall could have been similarly profiled. And that the difference, perhaps, between me and some others is just the good fortune that I picked up the phone when they asked me. But the other part is what I would say is the inclination to just do a touch more. And if I can give a thought that I have used for more than 20 years, that perhaps some of you could use this as inspiration of your own in your own communal work and communal service. And that is, imagine that you had, or do have, a demanding boss, or one really demanding client, or if you're a student, a tough professor, or perhaps, unfortunately, maybe a sick neighbor. And if they were to ask you to give of yourself 15 minutes a day more, or an hour a day, or whatever the number is, you would somehow or other find the way to do it. And so my comment and thought is perhaps that we all could take that kind of time allocation and give it over to this very crucial work that we do in connection with AIPAC and our pro-Israel advocacy. So I hope that we all can continue to do what we do and do even more. In my remarks today, I thought that given the time of the year, that we might all draw inspiration from the season in thinking about those commitments and communal involvements that I've just alluded to. Next week is Purim. Purim is the story of a diaspora community, a community unaccustomed to flexing a muscle on its own behalf, a community facing enemies with exterminationist goals. And finally, it's the story of a small community that realizes it can save itself in partnership with the then dominant world power. But it isn't just the geopolitical narrative, or that the story takes place in Persia, which is, of course, ancient Iran, that makes Purim a contemporary tale for all of us. The central drama of Purim, as many of you know, and the key lesson for activists like us, is the interaction between Mordechai and Esther, and the way they each come to change history, the way they refuse to passively accept a destiny determined by someone else, someone with malign intent, someone with plans of his own to shift history in accord with those evil designs. When Queen Esther is asked by her uncle Mordechai to approach the king in order to save her people, she is fearful and tries to find a way not to do it. Not only is it prohibited for anyone to approach the king without an invitation, but Esther will also have to reveal her Jewish heritage and will also have to ask the king to reverse a royal decree. She hesitates. And then Mordecai challenges Esther with words that change history. Who knows, he says to her, who knows whether it was just for such a moment that you attained this royal position? Esther is emboldened and acts. She, like Mordecai, goes from being a mere person to a person who shifts history. And the Jewish people, on the verge of annihilation, are saved. A key lesson of Purim is that each and every one of us needs to be like Mordecai. When alerted to danger, we can't ever just close our eyes and hope for the best. Every one of us has the power to change a royal decree. But if each of us needs to be like Mordecai, we also need to be like Esther. We need to be able to overcome our shyness, our fear, even our love of comfort, and to call out to those in power who can be our partners in saving us and them too from an awful result. When we reach out to others in our own communities back home and urge them to join this essential work, we are like Mordecai. And when we raise our voices to our elected officials and educate them to see how our fight is their fight, then we are like Esther. Please ask yourselves a question. Are we doing all we can to shift history? In answering that question, we understand that there are no shortcuts, no easy ways to achieve what we hope to achieve. We need to accept that this is a struggle that may go on, possibly even past our own lives. But with stamina and will and determination and distraction from other tasks, we too can shift history. What we and others like us choose to do today and in the days and years ahead can move the future in a different direction and create a new destiny for Israel and for us all as well. Following this lunch, we will break into 28 separate leadership gatherings. Unlike in years past, each room will be filled with AIPAC supporters from across the country and not just from your own region. It's an opportunity to hear other people's moving stories and to share your own. If you are new to Policy Conference, you do not want to miss this. And if you are a veteran AIPACer, you owe it to others to attend the leadership gathering and to tell of your own powerful moments as a pro-Israel activist. But the leadership gathering is also the moment to weigh your own tangible support, your financial commitment to AIPAC and to our essential work. I don't mention your financial support lightly. Every one of us has many competing pulls on our resources: daily living, vacations, a secure retirement, the desire perhaps to leave an inheritance of some size to our children, and indeed, the need to support other important causes. But everyone here knows of AIPAC's unique role. We all know the efficiency with which the organization works and how every dollar is carefully managed with consistently extraordinary results. We all know the stakes before us because this speech isn't just about the Esthers and Mordecais in the world, but that there are very real Hamans too. We've all seen on the news what the Iranians are planning and what Hamas hopes to achieve. But it is we in this room who, like Mordecai and Esther, can reshape destiny with our words, our actions, and our willingness to give of ourselves for the well-being of our people and in support of core American values that everyone here cherishes. So, as you begin your leadership gatherings, think about Mordecai's haunting words and see how they are relevant to us and to the moment we are in. And know that it may be just for a moment like this that we have all been brought together. Know that some 50 years since the founding of AIPAC, AIPAC may have been created just for a moment like this, when the destiny of the Jewish people and of the entire Western world is at risk. and most important of all, know that your work and your gift is of crucial, essential importance. The lesson of Purim is that destiny is in the hands of those willing to work, to risk, and to lead. Evil madmen, Hamans of antiquity and Hamans of today, evil madmen can be stopped. And Israel living in peace and security won't be easily achieved, but that too can be our destiny. It's all about our wanting it enough, being strong enough, and sacrificing enough, and knowing that it may have been just for a moment like this that every one of us found our way to pro-Israel activism. I thank you, each and every one of you, for all you have done for our cause until this day, and I thank you for all you will do in the days and years ahead. And a week early, I wish you all a happy and meaningful Purim. Thank you.